100% off the strength, man.
Off the strength.
I did it all on the strength, all on the strength. Fuck fucking, I'ma do this off the strength.
Run it back, can't relax, that's just facts off the strength.
It's off the strength. Can't get that off the strength.
The sacrifices we made to invest into every aspect of this product is for the benefit of others. We're just a small blip in humanity. We just felt like, hey, we know what cannabis has done for our lives. We know what it does for other people's lives. And if we want to step into this space, then we need to take the necessary steps and make the necessary sacrifices to educate ourselves and present the best product to the people.
What's going on, fam? This is KR Jones of the Off the Strength podcast, and I am here to tell you to like, listen, subscribe, and if you're feeling freaky, visit offthestrength.com. That's where you can go and get more information on us. That's where we can link, we can build, we can connect, and let's make this thing work.
AB, we looking good? All right, cool, solid. Then I think we might be ready to work, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I mentioned these brothers a little bit earlier in a very sincere and real story, right? I was talking to my mom about how I can help her out with some of the ills that she was facing. I don't know if we ever shared this story, but this is literally how I found the brand. I went over to a different spot than here to find that, and I had my first interaction with FOY. And from then on, I understood that this was a place and a company that I wanted to be a part of, right? It is the epitome of my life to be working in health and wellness. So I look for myself in brands that are reflected out there. So I would not put my name, my image, my likeness, or anything that I'm associated with in front of my mom unless I really believed in it. Okay. I need to make sure everybody understands that to a high level. And I have here today with me Yon and Moose, okay, founders of FOY. Now, these brothers, I had the pleasure with not just navigating through their space as one of the first people to be a part of the team, right? I also got a chance to see how they interact, their dynamic energy with each other, how they empower other people across the line from them, how they also, they took me on a little bit of a trip with a gentleman that's also a part of this team, brother Stevan, right? Yep. Now, this brother has a lot of confidence in his moves and abilities because he plays on the football field. He was doing some fantastic stuff on the car that I will never get into with him again, Homie was driving with his knees, eating a full meal. It was like real confident energy, like an NFL player would have, right? Facts. Never happening again, okay? So with that, it does me a great pleasure, and I'm going to ask for everybody to make an explosive round of applause for my brother Yon and Moose over here. Come on now. Right on the shelf behind you, okay? If you need to understand a good organic situation, you want to make sure that you're feeling good. You're getting some solid adaptogens in here. It's going to be coming from these two brothers over here. How y'all feeling today?
Good. In my very biased opinion, that might have been one of the coldest podcast intros I ever heard.
Man, this ain't our first flight, bro. We've been doing this a long time, man.
It means the world, man.
Brother.
I'm definitely calling Steven after this.
Let him know. I feel this. Hey, dog, I'll send you eat 17 different meals, hands free.
Kid Red leaves people with PTSD every time he gets behind the wheel.
So understand what I felt when I was like, you know what, this is still a team that means something. You know what I mean?
I didn't even think about it more. Golly. But no, we appreciate you having us on, man.
For sure.
Got an incredible platform. You both speak power, and we're just grateful, that you wanted to empower us and our brand, and kindly of us.
Absolutely, man. We've been an accelerator and an incubator for a lot of different people in this health and wellness industry in this city specifically. Like I mentioned a little earlier, I literally lived on that block until this block got really high and I couldn't afford to live on that block no more. Then I had to move away from that block. So I'm happy to see that I make all of these people want to come here too, right? It's like we've been setting the foundation in Brooklyn for a long time, not just in the health and wellness space, but also in the intersections of where art meet everything else. And I keep hearing this all throughout the story, right? There are so many different reasons why people come to the health space. There's so many different reasons why people come to the cannabis space. Guys, I want you to talk to me a little bit about where your paths in both of those have intersected and why we're here today.
Right.
You want me to take it?
Yeah. So kind of when you think about FOY, like the core part of our business is health and wellness, but equally as important to us is the community side. So that's kind of the biggest intersection that defines FOY as a brand. Right. We don't define ourselves as, a cannabis or a CBD specific brand, although we do sell those products. We define ourselves as a wellness brand with a social responsibility. Yeah. Right. So much of our mission comes to providing the highest quality products on the market. In addition to that is giving back to the community. the community that served cannabis for so long, even prior to legalization in the state of New York. So for Moose and myself, we're extremely passionate about what we put in the market in terms of products, and in regard to how we can give back. You know, we take pride in sourcing 100% of our ingredients. So when we came in this space, we didn't want to just reach out to a processor and say, hey, make me this. We wanted to come with intention, consciously formulated products that help people, right? We're not just trying to be a label on the shelf. We want a product that helps people. And I think part of the greatest joys that we get from working in this space is the DMs and emails we get from people that tell us their testimonial, right? Whether it's someone's mother with MS or someone's father who's had sleep issues and insomnia for years, and telling us how the product helped change their life. To us, that's what it's all about. And then reinvest in some of that money back into communities that have been underserved for so long.
Yeah, it's important. Making sure that, you know, people have, like we talked about a little bit earlier, a pathway to that agency, right? Because they want to be able to build back up. And I do love all of that. And I still need to hear where your wellness journey starts. I want to understand, like, okay, you look like a fit guy. You know where the gym is at. You know what I mean? You look like you live a healthy life. Where'd you find your path to wellness?
All right. So for Moose and myself, prior to cannabis, we were managing professional athletes, mostly on the NFL side. So we handled the off the field stuff and on the field stuff. And through that, we forged these real relationships with people who, you know, they played the sport this whole life, from junior high to high school to college and to the highest level, right? So we came across pain management firsthand, right? As far as me per se, I didn't really get into wellness until I started working closely with these guys. I started seeing their workout regimen, what they eat, how they took it seriously, and starting to think about my future, right? And how health has a big effect on dictating kind of your journey down the road in terms of longevity and just quality of life. Yeah. Right. So it didn't take long for me to implement different stuff, watch what I eat, active lifestyle. If I'm not in the gym, I'm finding a hobby that keeps me active per se. So when Moose and myself started FOY back in 2019, we knew we were going to implement that into the business model because wellness played such a big role in our life. And it's really hit home, especially when you talk about family lifestyle, personal lifestyle, and just trying to promote that overall wellness. Because wellness, it goes beyond just, you know, physical health. Absolutely. It impacts mental health as well. So Moose, I'll let you kind of talk about your journey as well.
It's a good question. I'm just very ingrained when it comes to people, right, and purpose. And I'm just a firm believer that we all have these man-made anxieties, right? And wellness plays a major role in alleviating those anxieties so people can make the better choice for their life moving forward. And whether it's working out, whether it's what you eat, you know, I'm not the greatest when it comes to what you eat, right? So I just believe in how you respect your temple or your body is what you'll project out. Okay. Right? People deal with anxiety. People deal with stress. People deal with all the ups and downs when it comes to life. But those are normal things, right? Those are things that we shouldn't run away from, right? It just proves that we should be a little bit more empathetic. And I just feel like when it comes to what we put in our body, the people that curate these medicines or these foods that are naturally given to us through this earth, right, we should be accountable of how we formulate that, right? And if we can create a product or, benefit someone's overall health by what we say or what we do, I just think accountability plays a major role, right? And it's been tough in a capitalistic world, right? Yeah. Because you can cut corners, but when you hold yourself accountable, when you hold your company accountable, when you hold the people around you accountable, people can really step into their purpose and shine.
That's what's up. They ain't just selling the product; they live in the product, bro.
That's a fact. I'm hearing a lot of intentionality in you two brothers, right? I'm curious about what the deciding factor was to develop FOY and pivot out of working with professional athletes.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. That's a good question. So one of our partners, Stevan, Man, one thing I'll say about
That was a knee dropping brother, just
Yeah.
for clarity.
he tore his ACL multiple times. I'm not spilling any beans. I think a lot of people know cannabis is used a lot in professional sports,
Absolutely.
right? It's just it's now becoming, I guess, more accepted when it comes to like the owners of the leagues, right?
Yeah.
He tore his ACL. They said in college, and then he tore it again in his pros. And he didn't want to take the whole pharmaceutical route.
Yep.
So we came across CBD and cannabis, and we kind of went on the journey, all of us together, of implementing into his workout. And he recovered in 3 months. He was back training again, and we kind of just saw, the benefits of the plant. And I'm just a firm believer in, as long as you stay true to yourself and utilize the people in front of you the right way, then opportunities present itself. So from there, we were granted an opportunity to invest in a farm upstate New York that made CBD, right? And we parlayed that into FOY, right, to create products that people can experience that type of benefit that he did and we did through our daily regimen. And man, it was just incredible to support. Man, our marketing approach was just give the product to the people in need, and see how that support benefits us. And from there, our 2 CBD products, we partnered with everyone from Birchbox, GNC, Thrive Market, Neiman Marcus, and then cannabis became legal in the state of New York, and cannabis is a lot easier to sell and than CBD. And we just took a leap of faith and started making some clean products with organic ingredients. And that's.
And I also want to check in to kind of the early part of FOY, right? Early 2019, like Moose mentioned, we invested in an organization that was awarded a license to grow hemp in the state of New York. That allowed us to really delve in the education process because they were a startup at the time. They were new. We really learned the cultivation process, the harvesting process, and the extraction process. So putting our heads together with our partner and some of our allies in the NFL, we took the time to really think about, okay, what does a brand look like? A brand represented by us, right? So we want to implement some of the things that we learned in the past and put our passion behind it. And that's how FOY kind of rolled out. It was interesting timing because it was March 2020.
Yeah.
So lockdowns were happening. Just a lot of uncertainty in the country, right? In the world, right? So we took that as an opportunity to hit the ground running, in the sense that immediately we started forging our own social programs where we donate a portion of our profits to local community banks, food banks. Every election cycle, we donate to provide free transportation in low-income communities so they can exercise the right to vote through free transportation. Every month since 2020, we donate a portion of our profits to organizations that bail people out with minor cannabis-related charges. That hit close to home for us. Moose and myself, we grew up in North Louisiana. It's a stricter cannabis laws. And we saw people close to us get locked up because of those charges. So that was something that was always going to be the forefront of kind of our ventures when it came to giving back. And even as recently as this year, we started donating to organizations that support military and wounded veterans, right? So many military veterans come back. They don't get the resources they deserve. And cannabis is kind of a safe spot for a lot of them. And we just want to do what we can as a cannabis brand or as a brand that sells cannabis to support them. So throughout that whole journey, Moose and myself, we and Steven, we try to stay strong with our mission. Landscape's always changing.
Yeah.
CBD's hot one year, and then the next year it's kind of flat, and then cannabis is the new wave, right? But as long as we kind of stay true to our intentions, and when it comes to clean ingredients and do whatever we can to support the people, we feel good about our prospects moving forward.
I love that. And I just want to go back a little bit into that North NOLA, the whole North Louisiana is where you're coming from. Okay. I'm hearing a rich entrepreneurial idea, right? And we fast forwarded through to 2020. Okay. Y'all look like y'all have been thinking about a lot of different things.
Facts.
way before that, okay? Where does the entrepreneurial spark, and talk to me about those earlier days happening down in NOLA? Like, talk to me about what's going on there. Where's that come from?
So we were born in a small town called Ruston.
Ruston, okay.
Yeah. So our dad is a professor at HBCU called Grambling.
Okay.
He's taught there for about 40 years, and he teaches in the business department.
Okay.
Right. And daycare for us was going into kind of work with him, right, and just kind of see how he maneuvers, and he educates people on the power of being an entrepreneur in business and stuff like that. So that too, and Southern hip hop, right?
Okay.
And I was raised. I think the first song I heard, man, I remember, man, because back then, parents were a little bit strict when what came on the radio.
Yeah.
Right. But I heard the song by Lil Troy, "Want to Be a Baller," Shot Caller. I didn't know what it meant, but
20-inch rims. That's what you was going with.
Facts. I was like, I want to do this, right? I feel like, this is our way, to put ourselves in a position to really do things, right?
Uh-huh.
And Big Timers and all them came out, right?
Yeah.
And, no, I do truly credit our father, right? He was very big on, carving our own path and, creating something with intention that brings, honor to, our people, right? Our community and stuff like that. But, man, shout out Grambling State University, right? And their business department, right?
Shout them out. For sure.
And we went to LSU.
Yeah. I feel like the journey has just been so random. Like, thinking back at, when you're a kid or a teenager, like Moose mentioned, especially down south, man, some of our biggest influence outside of family was Southern hip hop, right? Master P, Cash Money.
Hell yeah.
Even go,
Extremely entrepreneurial.
Yeah. Exactly. So
that tank was rolling down a lot of streets.
Facts.
So we knew we wanted to do something big, but we also knew we were kind of like in a limited market per se.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of limitations, and we probably weren't the best behaved growing up. So we knew we needed a bigger playground to adjust to. So, the journey's crazy. We ended up matching up and becoming friends with professional athletes, parlaying that into a business venture where now you're negotiating deals, brand deals for them, or negotiating contracts with NFL organizations, and to kind of parlay that into kind of throwing a retail brand. You definitely pick up some intangibles on the way, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
They say more is caught than taught. On that route. Yeah, man.
Right.
Now, I got one follow-up that I'm let my brother get in there.
Oh, yeah.
I say my brother because I have one actual blood brother, but then I have a whole lot of brothers that I get to accrue along the way. I'm sure you understand the same thing.
That's how
I love this man, and sometimes I want to fight this man with both fists, feet, elbows, knees, and everything else, right? And the love is going to persevere through all of that, right? Now, y'all two are brothers, right? I'm going to imagine that there's going to be opportunities where one person wants to do one thing, another person wants to do another thing. How do y'all develop a dynamic where y'all actually work through the relationship and then also thrive through the business?
Man, that's a really good question. I know people say don't work with family and stuff like that. To me, it's just a silly thing to say that people deem as cool to justify, I don't know, things kind of falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I just believe in empowerment and accountability. I mean, we shared a room. There's 5 of us growing up, right, in a humble household, and I just believe that as long as you align yourself with intention, everything tends to work out. I mean, we used to listen to, man, it's back in the day, the radio, ESPN radio, and we just argue over like what team plays, what quarterback plays for what team, whatever, and that elevated us from a small town Louisiana to working with NFL players, right, to now we're in cannabis, but we don't necessarily butt heads. I think we both understand that the brand is bigger than us, right? The nonprofits we support, the products that people rely on, it's a responsibility. And we just accept that and understand anything that we're bickering about is, it can be of selfish intent, right? Just, trying to be right or whatever. But we put the customer first. We put the intention first. I mean, we don't even do like, for the love, we don't even really like do like pictures or stuff or highlight us as kind of the brand owners. We really let the intention shine. And when that humility's kind of part of any process, then the message and the intention gets out and the people benefit. But Don't get me wrong. It took a lot of whoopings and a lot of timeouts. I mean, like you said, we weren't the easiest, but my dad held it down.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just realize that you just want what's best for the people you love and the people around you. I always say I'd rather, or like the success I receive, you want that for your brother. You want that for your family. And
Absolutely.
if you don't genuinely feel that way, then why do you deserve any resources, right? Right. So,
And I was gonna say the trust too. Trust is important, right? It's not like we immediately started working straight out of college together, but and that was one of the important things before we started the business, before we even created, the C Corp. Is like, are we all aligned here? Yeah, there's gonna be some times where you might not agree on the strategy, but if we can all kind of sit down and weigh the benefits, open communication is super important,
Fact.
right? And everything's transparent between us. Right, so that definitely helps as well. But
if he's tripping, I just call my mom.
Get your son. Get him.
Hilarious.
he been a mama boy.
I want the record to reflect that back in the day I had like the Grambling jersey, you know what I mean? The little baby blue and like
Eddie
yellow.
Robinson.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was around the Negro League time. You know what I'm saying? So,
Shout out them Tigers.
the second thing for the record is I too tore my ACL twice. Second time I came back in 8 months. The only other person to do that was Adrian Peterson. You know what I'm saying?
Respect.
He's gonna talk a lot of wild stuff in a second.
I'm just
good
saying.
company.
He's telling the
You got an inner athlete over here.
Hey man,
Talk a lot
I'm
of
just
wild
saying. Now, the point that I want to land on though is I keep a youthful spirit, right? And that allows me to interact with people of all different types.
Yeah.
When I think of Fountain of Youth, that's an interesting name. Where did that come from?
Oh, man. So it ties back to football. So Stevan, the team that he left after he tore his ACL was the New England Patriots. And he went to the Jets, but he ended up with Mike Tomlin, who originally kind of wanted him before he went to the Jets. And he had a game against New England Patriots, right? They were on their run, and Stevan had an incredible game, right? He looked absolutely incredible. And while I was on the field with him, his coach came up to me. He's like, "Dang, boy, it looked like you found the Fountain of Youth out here." And while I was on my bus ride back to New York, I'm just sitting there because we had just started the brand, and we were going back and forth of names and stuff like that. And it kind of hit me. I call him and say, "What do you think about FOY?" He's like, "FOY? What was that? What does that even mean?" I said, "It's an acronym for Fountain of Youth." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So, but it's just all about restoration, purpose, right? Like, through grace, right? We can all kind of recollaborate and step back into realignment to, be the best versions of ourselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a firm believer if you can grow your own food, you can grow your own medicine, right? Cannabis has a stigma, largely due to the pharmaceutical industry, right? But it's something that's came on this earth with a lot of us. You just got to respect the plant, right? There's ways to, cut corners, but as long as you respect the plant, people can benefit from it and step into their purpose. So everything that comes from FOY is going to be restorative and, fully empower the person to be the best version of themselves.
And think of the name was just like one part of the equation, right? It's like, okay, cool. It's a unique name.
Yeah.
Now, how do you brand it? Like, how do you present it, right? And we knew the market, at least come at the time selling CBD. Very few brands kind of stood out in terms of the vision that we wanted.
Right.
Right. So I would say early on, when you talk about investing in different parts of the business, branding was an area that we took so much time in, right? Everything was intentional down to the Pantone colors. We wanted to convey we wanted to kind of convey a feeling of calmness, right? When you see the packaging, we wanted simple. Even the F and the Y, you can see the ends of it. It's like a water drop, right? Which kind of resembles a fountain of youth.
Okay.
So, it's a great start to how, it started from a torn ACL to kind of a 100-yard rushing game. And then, it ended up a product in the shelves of almost 100 dispensaries in the state of New York.
Congrats to that, man.
Yeah.
Congrats to that.
Appreciate it.
Feeling very bee-like water after I'm looking at this logo now.
Nah, you're good.
Amazing. I see where you're taking me, okay?
Good. You're
I
good.
feel like I'm in there. Color psychology. We talking about the day. It's all happening right inside here. So simple, so complex at the same time.
Amen.
In all sincerity, that whole simplicity but complexity aspect is something that I keep seeing all throughout philosophically what you guys do.
Yeah.
Where do you base that kind of outlook? And like, what's the source of why you feel so rooted in the purpose behind what you do?
I mean, look, we sell cannabis, right? But when it comes to life, I just believe that true love is denying your own suffering and helping others with theirs, right?
That's almost Buddhist. Like,
Yeah, like I'm just and the sacrifices we made to invest into every aspect of this product is for the benefit of others, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like too holier than that. I'm just a firm believer in service,
yeah.
right? Whether it's conversations, whether it's fellowship, whether it's breaking bread, whether it's providing for others, whether it's lending a listening ear.
Yeah.
We're just a small blip in humanity, right? And we just felt like, hey, we know what cannabis has done for our lives. We know what it does for other people's lives. And if we want to step into this space, then we need to take the necessary steps and make the necessary sacrifices to educate ourselves and present the best product to the people. Because at the end of the day, that capital's coming back to us. Now, that's another responsibility. When you get that capital, are you looking at it in a greedy way, or are you looking at it as a responsibility? Hey, now how can we, restore people in other ways?
Yeah.
Right. So, I feel like that played a major role into the
philosophy.
And,
all the
and I was going to say, from a strategic perspective, it's kind of like coming into market, right? 2020, there's maybe 3,000 CBD brands or product companies that sell CBD products in the market. It's like, you're not really well capitalized relative to some of the bigger brands. How do you kind of make your way? How do you survive, right? We knew we had a story, right? And we wanted to kind of develop that identity, right? Again, we didn't want to just be seen as a label on a shelf, right? So we took, strategy that kind of applied in our everyday life, right? Getting involved in the community, right? Because that was important to us. So as you grow and you're doing things that you enjoy, it makes the job a lot better.
Yeah.
Right? Things that mean a lot to you in terms of, your personal growth. And a lot of that came down to branding and how you wanted to position the product. We talk about the simplicity, but complexity, right?
Yeah.
We've had the pleasure of working with brands like Neiman Marcus and also GNC.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that kind of spoke to the versatility of our branding, where we could be at a wellness store like GNC that, it's everyday people, and then maybe kind of a higher end department store like Neiman Marcus or a Birchbox or even a Thrive Market, right? So it was really, really important to us to kind of develop that identity behind FOY and convey it, right, in a meaningful way. And when you have limited resources, you just have to be creative. Right. So
I understand it so much. We do this off the strength. I do it because I love these people. I do it because I want people to actually get the health and wellness. Talking to me as a personal trainer is too expensive for most people to actually have that conversation.
I feel you.
It's not accessible. I was a strength and conditioning coach for professional athletes who always was around cannabis.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, dog, we're testing in a few weeks. I need you to cool down, or we're going to get everybody in here in trouble. My whole staff, everybody's going to get jammed up if you don't stop. It's loud in here. I know what you're doing, right? So I've seen that. And then I've also seen the CEOs and everybody else that have been in part of the higher end aspects of what health and wellness has bought.
Yeah.
They've been investing in this for 10, 15, 20 years now at a high level.
Right.
So to see it all come together and make it accessible is something that is very important to me, vitally important, because I'm trying to change these neighborhoods that we want to serve in these communities, because I've lost too many people too soon for things that are largely preventable. So it is vital for me to get this message out as fast and as far as possible.
Facts.
Right.
You use the right word, preventability, right? It's something that is not educated as much as it should be, right? But yeah, if there should be an accountability factor of people that are creating products or putting things on the shelves
Yeah.
that benefit the people rather than take from it. He calls it people over profit.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, look, I mean, how much money do you want to make? Right. A lot of money, like wealth can lead to loneliness. Right.
I've seen it.
So, develop relationships on the way. Don't necessarily try to cut corners. I don't know. I sound like a motivational speaker over here, but just based on our testimony, man, our character has been tested at multiple times, right? As to where we could have cut corners, we could have put a product out that probably tested badly. We had to throw away I still got the picture in my phone. I had to throw away a batch of certain things. If it doesn't test right, then we want to put ourselves in a situation where everything that we put out is transparent, from our ingredients, our THC, our CBD, even our purees, right? Our fruit purees. We want to be as transparent as possible to where there is that community trust within the products that benefit us. But you're right, man.
And accessibility too in this market is super important, right? I think like early on, remember when they announced legalization in the state of New York, people started scrambling. The ones that weren't already prepping prior to the announcement. And then you would see these get-togethers, these events, and talking about prepping and entrepreneurship, people networking with lenders and investors and, trying to get an early foot into the space. But the problem was like the location of these events didn't feel like it was equitable, right? You would see it in, more affluential neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
Right. And kind of seemed like it was contradicting to the message of social equity that the state was trying to present to the people. And, it was important for us to at least figure out a way. I mean, we're just two people to kind of bridge that gap when it comes to information to, people in other communities, whether it's Harlem, whether it's Queens. And we had some early conversations, and we're proud to partner with Harlem Community Board.
Okay.
Once a year. They do a great job of hosting an event called Higher Learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a paneled event where they get professionals from all over the space, whether it's people from CCB, OCM, entrepreneurs. Shout out Arena. She was a speaker last year.
That's what's up.
So I think that's key. I think that's one of the steps, really. There's a wealth of knowledge to be shared.
Yeah.
You just need to make sure that everyone's getting equitable opportunity.
Absolutely. Each one can really teach one. I see you taking it. Yeah, bro.
That's a fact. The cannabis scene has grown exponentially, right? What do you think it takes to continue to close the educational gap to the people that don't have that exposure, right? To the people that, they're used to the legacy dealers, right?
Right.
To get them introduced to a new product, like, what are some initiatives you do to close that?
That's a real good question. Man, we don't being that we are a small business, we don't have the biggest marketing budget. We're not private equity backed or anything like that. We're just, blood, sweat, and tears, family, friends, and, the community that's behind us. And our marketing dollars don't necessarily go to ads or, posters, billboards, and different things like that. We just reinvest it back in the community. So we partner with individuals that serve a purpose. There's a young lady that does this thing called a bud walk, right? Where people, consume cannabis and go on a walk for their everyday health. We recently just partnered with them where in Brooklyn they picked up trash, right?
Shout out Tamara, Buds on the Move.
Facts. Did a stargazing event. There's a personal trainer we're going to work with, and through that we just we seed our products, right? And it becomes word of mouth. It's kind of like old school marketing, right? You can't necessarily worry about kind of what everyone else is doing because cannabis is here to stay, right? And it's only going to become working towards federal legalization. I think if you kind of stay in your lane and kind of stay in your purpose and support the community around you, we've seen a significant growth within because when we first started, everyone was like, oh, these big MSOs, these large companies are going to dominate the edible scene.
That's multi-state operators for those.
Facts. And we took a leap of faith. We invested in about around like 1,000 bag run. And here we are a year later. Now we're doing 50,000 bag runs, right? So I'm just a firm believer in like support your community, support people that are purchasing your product with a solid product that they can trust, and reinvest back in that community. And that's the definition of the best way to utilize a marketing budget, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to kind of keep up with the Joneses.
And I like the idea, like speaking of what Harlem Community Board 10 is doing, right? They're bringing information, they're bringing the experts, they're bringing the politicians or the people who at least have control or over the legislation when it comes to cannabis, and they're bringing it to the communities. I think that needs to be replicated throughout all the communities, right? Because that you talk about that gap in information, right? That's crucial, right? Because there's so many future entrepreneurs in these communities. People who've been burned during the legacy market that deserve a fair shot, right? They have the talent, they have the skills, they have the determination to get it done, right? We're just missing on information or opportunity. And I think events like that are helpful, and also just, connecting with community leaders, right? We've met great community leaders, people doing great stuff in the work. And obviously as a brand, we can talk about connecting the right folks, hosting entrepreneurship events. There's so many other things we can do besides just provide free samples. So, I think it's a community effort, right? I can't tell what other brands should do, but I'd love to see more people take an active approach in terms of, giving back to the community that deserves this opportunity.
You got to lead by example out there, right? And when you don't see what you want to have happen in the industry, you got to be that example, right? You're called and you have to step up to that call, right? I understand that. And I understand it in particular in the pursuit of that information, because sweat equity is my best form of equity that I've ever put into anything. I am a bit of a generalist around a lot of things, but more than that, I am a subject matter expert for anything that I care about. I have to be, because I don't necessarily get a second chance to talk to people about the first impression. They're like, oh, you might not know enough about this. No, I know a lot about this. I have to know everything about this because, again, I need to get into the door, right? So I would say to that, the opportunity to learn all of this stuff is right out there. The OCM actually has a very good educational component. It's educational system. You know how I know? Because I took it. It was there. It was posted. They do Canna entrepreneur classes. They put people in front of the panels and they do a really diligent job to make that level of education be not a barrier of entry. We talked about going to that college right up the block over there. That barrier of entry to get inside that private school over there, I'm still worrying about that barrier of entry right now to this day. Okay? When you make it accessible for everybody to learn and everybody to come together and grow, it's also important to see people doing the thing and being successful, right?
Right.
So when people see people in positions of, you got your own brand, that's fly. I never even thought that was possible. Wait, hold on. Tell me why that was a thing that you wanted to do. If I could see it, I could dream it, I can achieve it, right? What kind of role does the idea of the brand play for you in the idea of what legacy means to you?
That's a really good question. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the legacy is the founding fathers, right? You talk about sweat equity. They're the reason we can sell cannabis, right? That's why we're really big on our bail initiative, right? When it comes to, people that have been incarcerated to cannabis, right? They set the table for all of us to kind of, benefit right now. And there's still people suffering to this day.
Yeah, still incarcerated.
I mean, you get locked up down south for a roach in your car, right? And people are just out here smoking freely in New York. I still got PTSD when I smell weed. I'm just
looking over your shoulder. Like I'm a product of stop and frisk. I know what you're talking about.
So I'm like, they deserve all the credibility, and I just feel like there are organizations out there that are going out of their way to make sure they create these bail initiatives that people can support. But yeah, legacy is the reason we are where we're at today. I don't want to tell people what to do, but if there's an opportunity to support these bailout initiatives, until we become federally legal. I think that at least should be a bare minimum requirement from people that are profiting in the cannabis space. But, that's something that we hold true to our heart. We've had, as Jans mentioned, we've had friends that have been incarcerated. We have friends that are, serving life, right? So legacy does play a major role in our kind of foundation of FOY. Right?
And to speak on the brand side, the identity of the brand is never going to be defined by one person or two people, even the brothers. It's we kind of see it as a platform or a machine to continue to whether it's providing great product or whether it's collecting ideas on how to give back. And one thing we try to make clear, especially when we drop by different retail partners, we speak to the staff, which, by the way, bud tenders, incredible. They're the backbone of the industry.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't think they get enough love, and we're constantly trying to look for ways to kind of give back and support.
Yeah.
But we want to make it clear that if you have, something close to your heart, whether it's an organization that's supporting to support, whether it's your own personal venture, reach out to us at FOY on Instagram, info@simplyfoy.com, and we want to find a way to make it work. Right. So the identity of the brand is always going to be defined by, community effort. Obviously, we have guidelines, our mission statement, but that mission statement is, how can we put the best possible product out there and help people? And on the other side, it's like, never forget how we got here. Exactly. Speaking on the legacy and how can we kind of advance this space by giving back and supporting others, right? And giving back isn't just defined by, okay, we're just going to donate to an organization. No, how can you get more active?
Yeah.
We want to support someone's entrepreneurial journey. How can we do that as a brand, not as an individual? So FOY is kind of a machine, and all we can do is kind of just fuel it every day.
Hey, man, sounds fly to me.
Yeah.
Fellas, we have a segment in the show called Relax Responsibly.
Okay.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, just from everything both of y'all have laid out, you're giving a lot to community, to friends, to yourselves, right? How do you refill your cup, from the work, from everything else that you're doing?
He's going to say some restaurant.
No, it's weird because it's a controversial thing now. It's been weaponized. I'm a firm believer in God, right? I just feel like it's been hijacked and weaponized for people's self-gain. It's become a grift at this point. But, through my spiritual journey, right, that's kind of where I find my balance, where I find my purpose, right, and hold myself accountable, right? So, I just find myself reading and trying to apply what I read into everyday life. And I get that fullness back, right? Whether it's having conversations or helping or encouraging people or empowering people. I always try to tell people that the relief you're seeking or the happiness or the joy you're seeking might be in the thing that you judge the most, right? So that's kind of my foundation to everything. And like I said, I hate that it's become kind of weaponized and politicized into kind of a judgment tool rather than an empathetic journey, right? And that's kind of held me down throughout the ups and downs of life, business, and everything in between. So
yeah, and you're right. Finding that kind of balance or middle ground at the end of the day to kind of reset is important, especially as an entrepreneur. Traveling is always a nice step because you don't need to do it weekly, but if you get enough time to yourself, whether it's out of the country, or out of the state, or even upstate, New York's a beautiful state, that can really feel like, by the end of the trip, you feel recharged.
Yeah.
I'm big now onto bathhouse.
Okay.
Right, the ancient hair. I know.
Okay.
Hair. Oh, yeah. That's the nice one.
not the one that got Yeah, but
The other one has some issues. I was about to say, hey, bro, I don't know if we're gonna roll in there.
We're not
real quick.
speaking on those.
Yeah, we gonna keep it
It's a little too hot in
It's a
there.
family show right now. We're gonna keep that as family friendly as possible. Yeah, that one was a scene.
No, for sure. Massage is just taking care of your body, man.
Yeah.
And even I'm not gonna sit here and say, the gym. Half the time it's tough to find motivation. So I think it's a great self-development tool because it teaches you discipline, teaches you patience, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, that's part of like my rest and relaxation, obviously, but you need a break from all that sometimes, and even if that means getting a cheat meal, when it comes to
need that. What's the I need to hear these cheat meals. What's some of the favorite cheat meals from both of y'all?
Look, respectfully,
man,
I'm a big fan of.
You're about to spend 30 minutes in this segment, man.
We're a before and after picture, so he's got a little bit more discipline than me. But man, I think a lot of people sleep on Whole Foods bakery, man.
Okay.
Now don't get me wrong, I love the Hanis and the Culture Espressos and like the different bakeries throughout New York. But
Culture Espresso for the cookies. That's the one that it ranks for a lot of people. We used to record right across the street from there. We used to have to pull them out of there. Yo, we got to start.
The little cupcake bake shop, man. There's a lot of stuff, but man, if you want a consistent go to, Whole Foods got tres leches and a key lime pie. Okay, boy, I think I'll
tell you, man, you've been spending some time uptown, man.
$10 for a full. But man, look,
we in New York City. He didn't even mention pizza. That's crazy to me.
Man, look, we can go all day. I'm a Southern boy, so I'm all about food. Southern comfort. A big part of that is dealing with our emotions through food, right? But man, New York is it's unreal, man. It's like nothing I've ever seen, man. Queens, shout out Brooklyn.
You'd be all over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Same neighborhood. You
Exactly.
get a little bit of everything.
Facts, man. Look, down south, they might be giving us a run for our money up here.
I would make the claim, but I'm not going to say it came from me.
Let them find out about Tony Chachere's up here.
It's been tough. You got any faves?
Oh man, I probably not as generic as a Whole Foods. No disrespect, but
Whole Foods. When you carry cannabis, think about FOY.
If you're out there, you can see the packaging right on the shelf. It's very close. You even see the aisle. It's in your mind. Just think about it right there.
Word. I enjoy I enjoy simplicity of like a John's on Bleecker.
Okay.
Or maybe a Scars pizza.
Yeah.
But then I also enjoy kind of like something super creative, like fusion spots. There's a Brooklyn joint. I think it's a mixture of Trini and Chinese food.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's some flavor right there.
So
It's a place with the oxtail.
yeah, that's in the style.
pies and slices.
Cuts and slices.
Yeah. I can appreciate something like that as well.
definitely.
creative. So
A lot of creativity in the munchy category if y'all
Right.
out there.
And we-
got some solid recommendations.
and we cannot not mention Habesha food.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a ton of great places.
Eritrean or Ethiopian food.
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah.
That's kind of our origin.
I understand, man. Listen, I've been around some injera too, man. We can pull past, make it work.
Right.
With the hands.
You know what I mean? You got to literally break bread, bro.
Absolutely.
Make it work.
Love community. Almost like
It's all on the same space.
all in the
Everything
same
shuts
space.
down. Everyone eats from the same kind of bowl. But yeah, I think that probably plays a major role into our community aspect. But
It does. It's vital. You can learn a lot about somebody from a plate, much like you can learn a lot about somebody, inside of a space where you get to tap more into the empathy side, right? And that's what I think y'all have a perfect vehicle for in a lot of different ways. And just to add a word of encouragement, bro, you work in a space that's highly stigmatized, right?
yeah,
Don't ever stigmatize something that is that personal as like your purpose and divinity inside there, regardless of what anybody else is saying.
Word.
You already work in the space that most people are passing judgment for you on.
you're right.
Word.
You're right.
Move into that with your purpose. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you saying that, man. I never want to come off like holier than thou. Or look, I am a flawed human being.
Right.
But there is peace in a spiritual journey, and I just challenge people to approach it through their own experience rather than what they hear or what they see or what people that are quote unquote leaders are judging people on, right? At the end of the day, we're meant to fellowship. We're here to love each other, be kind to each other, our neighbor, someone that's suffering or struggling.
Right.
And if your first initiative is to pass judgment, don't give yourself grace because that's something you've been taught by quote unquote leaders, right? And just take your own, journey into that spiritual aspect. And all I can say is, if people want to look at us as a success, thank God. We're if this is evidence of what people want in life, then that's the path we took, right? And everyone deserves it, and everyone can benefit from it.
And that's the beauty of the cannabis space. You're not defined by your race, your gender, your political affiliations, whatever that might be. It's people grouped together for the love of the plant, right? And the benefits that it brings, right? And we want to support that. This is the best space we've ever worked in, and we're constantly embracing the community. There's a ton of good people in this space, and that's what makes a space worth working in. Right. And you meet new people every day.
Yeah.
Right. And, it's always a quick response time in terms of how can we work together or, planning the next move. Right. It comes so, it just feels more genuine. Right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We've reached that point in the show where we have to do a little puffing process.
Puffing process,
if
guys.
you will. So, Tony, tell them about puffing process.
So puffing process, we're going to have a reflexive question issued to each one of you. Now, I've gone through these questions. It's not going to be anything. Not trying to get you on nothing. You know what I mean? It's very clean for everybody's brand, okay? We're trying to do the uplifting here. The good folks at Off the Strength, we are trying to uplift and empower, but we also want to ask some things that are going to get to the heart of the matter because we're having deep level conversations with some high clientele over here, okay, man? We want to connect passion, purpose. Please, let's play a little bit of puffing process right now.
Okay. So it says, do your best impression of me. Everyone has to do it.
That was not supposed to be in there. We got to remove one card. I was going to say, actually, I kind of want to hear that now.
Behind the scenes right here.
I was like, wait a second. Hold on. Actually, I do want to see that. We're going to go back to this.
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken? Ooh. That's a good question. There's a lot. So Steven, our partner, he got drafted to the New England Patriots, and it was my last semester of college. And I was like, this when like Facebook was big and Twitter was starting to get big, and I was building his socials and, kind of posting for him. My bad, Steven. But I was just getting like deals.
It was part of the team, man. It was work.
Facts. And brand deals were hitting me up, and I was getting a bunch of stuff sent to his house, and he was like, hey, man, why don't you come up here and try this marketing and management thing? I was like, I got school. He's like, yeah, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We got African parents. I dipped on my senior year. Ooh, they about disowned me. And I was just out there, man. I was by night, I was washing cars at Enterprise, and by day, I was, working with him to broker deals with like Vita Coco. And the first deal I got him was 1 of 6 Cadillac, right? And he got it as a rookie. And I remember at dinner, everyone was like, his teammates like, hi, how'd you get this? You're a rookie or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he points at me, and his teammates were like, hey, take my number, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And man, it was just such a tough journey. But the whole spiritual aspect, I just felt like it was rooted in like, hey man, our parents have worked hard. We want to, alleviate some of the stress or financial burden on their end. And man, it worked out. I came back, got my degree from my parents, but that risk got me out of Louisiana. Not that there's anything against Louisiana, but it kind of skyrocketed where we are at today. So I'm just a firm believer, if the intention is good, your biggest critic is yourself. You're going to talk yourself out of it, right? But if you just take a little bit of a leap of faith, right, and just trust the intention, man, it always works out.
That's what's up, man. Open up your eyes to a whole new world.
Facts.
That's love, bro. That's love. Yeah. Okay. We got another card though.
This is an easy one. What are you grateful for? Oh man, I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for loved ones. I'm grateful for the community. I'm grateful for the people who paved the way for us to operate in this space. I'm grateful for everyone in this room. I'm grateful for, just the people out there leading communities, leading with intention. at the end of the day, people, sometimes ask us, what's the greatest tool you could, invest in if you want to get into this space. And, I'm not going to jump into, oh, you have to learn branding 101 or this and this. It's just, treat human beings, kindly. Treat people with respect.
It's almost like the golden rule right there.
Absolutely. It's such a simple concept, but it's impactful, right? Don't prioritize people based on what you think you can get out of them. It's not transactional, right? You never know what you could do to somebody, and people remember you for how you make them feel, right?
More than anything else.
We're grateful. I'm grateful for the people, living in terms of that intention. So, yeah.
It's felt, man. It's felt. Fellas, I am appreciative of y'all sharing time, energy, effort, and love with us. Please, everybody make some noise one more time for Yon Moose.
Appreciate y'all, man. You guys are killing it, man.
Yeah, man. Once again, it's been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
KR Jones.
Peace and much love out there to everybody. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Be yourself. Thank you.
What's good, everybody? I'm a trainer called Tony, and I am here from the infamous Off the Strength podcast, asking you today, listeners, viewers, wherever you may be, to please like, listen, and subscribe to our podcast. This is how we're going to continue to be able to deliver you the best goddamn wellness information out here. So if you want to keep hearing this and you want us to keep growing, you are a part of this show just as much as anything else. So please go to offthestrength.com. Make sure you check out our blogs. Make sure you check us out on IG. And if you're hearing this voice and you didn't hit that subscribe button, know that Kyle is going to come looking for you.
You got that right.